Hello again. So today we have a fall lesson that we're going to do, and this one all you need are crayons and some watercolors. If you don't have any of those supplies, please email me and let me know, and I can try to put something together for you that you can pick up at the office. Just let me know. Crayons and watercolor are what you need. So I do have a video. If you have markers, you can make your own watercolors. So if you do have those, watch the video below this one on how to make your own watercolors. If you need something, let us know. Especially if you're at home, we want to make sure that you have the supplies you need. All right, so I am going to make some leaves today, and I have this as a reference guide because here in San Antonio, we may not get leaves that look quite like this. We get have a lot of brown leaves and sometimes green leaves that stay green throughout the whole fall season. But they're on occasionally we'll see a beautiful, beautiful yellow tree or a tree that's changing colors. But it's not as common as some other places that have a little colder weather. So I have this as a reference sheet so we can see the fall colors in different types of leaves. So we're going to take some of these shapes and make leaves out of them. And I'm going to kind of show you a simple way that I make leaves. So each leaf is going to get a different color, and you really want about 5 leaves on your paper. You don't want to make these tiny, tiny. I don't want 5 tiny little leaves in your paper. I want them, pretty big, almost the size of your hand, okay? So if I have 5, I can fit 5 of my hands on this paper. Sometimes you're gonna have them going off your paper, so you'll only see part of it. Sometimes they'll be overlapped, so again, you'll see only part of it. So really, we should see a good 5 different leaves, okay? So each leaf is gonna get a different color. So I'm gonna start with a red leaf. And I'm just gonna show you how you can make your leaves just a little bit easier by drawing the midrib first. And so I'm going to draw my midrib first and just making a line. You can space yours wherever you want to put these, so you don't have to copy mine. I would rather you not copy mine. I'd rather you find your leaves a place that's different than mine, okay? So I'm going to draw my midrib. Then on a maple leaf, you kind of see these other points. So you see the midrib here, and then you see another little line here, 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 and here. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So when I draw mine, I'm going to draw 5 points. I'm going to draw 1 up here and 1 kind of out. 1 up here and 1 out. Okay, that's going to help me make my leaf. And then so once I get here, I'm just going to kind of look at the leaf. So I'm just making those points. And some of mine is going off the paper. And that's okay. So there's 1 leaf. I know the maples are really hard, so drawing these and kind of just going around it will kind of give you a place on your paper to go to. Otherwise your leaf may wander, okay? So now I'm gonna switch colors and I'm gonna find another leaf that I'm gonna draw. And I'm using my reference paper as a guide. So I'm looking at a birch leaf. I'm gonna use a brown as my outline color. And I'm gonna let this one overlap this other one. This one's gonna be in front. And a birch wood tree kind of has these little jagged lines that come up in the middle. So I'm going to make my veins all the way up. Then I'm going to take these, I'm going to go alternating. I'm going to put my name down here at the bottom. It says artist. We write our names at the bottom. And then I'm going to paint. So today I'm going to use some watercolor. And what I'm going to do, I always wet my brush first, make sure it's clean. I wipe it off. And instead of picking the same color that I used with my crayon, I'm going to swap out colors. I'm gonna do a different color. So if I chose yellow here, I'm gonna pick something other than yellow to use. So I might use an orange. So I need to get a little bit more water. Remember, you wanna keep your paintbrush on your toes. And then we're going to go right over that crayon. Now, this is a little bit too dark, too thick, so I'm going to spread this out. I don't want more paint than I do water. I do need to have a good amount of water. So the paint that was on there, I'm just kind of wetting down, adding some water to it, and I'm just moving it, trying to move it down to a space that needs some paint. Okay, and you will naturally get kind of a darker area and a lighter area, because from where you started adding the paint to where you started adding water, that where you add water will be lighter. Now the fun part about this is you can come back and you can add some little sparkles in your leaf just by having a wet paintbrush, some water, and I just tapped it like this. You don't want to lift it too high, you just want to gently tap it, and that way it will kind of keep it in that zone. You'll see that it's kind of spreading around, and that's okay. That's kind of what I want it to do. So now that I have a red flower, maybe I choose yellow for this one. So we're going to use opposite colors. So these are all fall colors, the oranges, the reds, the yellows. And so I'm going to do kind of like purple and maybe a blue in the background. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of blue, then add a little water to spread it around. And if you have any salt at home, we're going to salt this up. So I'm using a little bit of blue And then I can take a little bit of purple and I can kind of add it in here with my blues. So as I'm doing this, once I finish this section, I can take a little bit of salt and I can put it down. It needs to still be wet when I'm doing this. I'm not doing it necessarily to the leaves, I'm just doing it to my background. So if you have a section like I just have that gets too much water and paint, just use that paint to go to those other sections that don't have any. Kind of let it be your little palette. Because that just let me use that little bit of paint for the whole rest of the picture. A little bit of salt. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to go back to my leaves, because maybe I want part of this leaf to be a little bit more orangey. So I can come back in here with my yellow, my orange, and I can have it have different colors. And as I move from one side to the other, and if that blue goes into your leaf, just kind of stop it. Whoopsie. So I'm just going to spread my orange around just so it's not so. Maybe I put a little bit more orange right in these little vein areas. And I'm going to add a little bit more water there so it's not gets blended together. Maybe this one I added a little bit more red besides just the dots. I'm just following those lines, those vein lines. And for the brown, I think I'm going to use some yellow to lighten it up just a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of go through those veins. And then, so it's not so dark, I'm going to come back and lighten it with a little bit of water. I'm just going to blend it in with that brown with my yellow. This color right here, I might use my brown. So I might use some brown, again, going along those veins, maybe even at the edge. And then I'm going to clean my brush, get just water, and kind of blend it. Just so you get a little variation of color in each leaf. I'm going to do a little orange in this one on my veins with a little bit of water. That way every leaf has about 2 colors painted and 1 color with the crayon. Now here's where I can go back, and if I wanted to add any little spots, sure this is when I can add them. Maybe now I want some. You have to think about the colors and if they will show up. you really just want to keep it in that little zone. And again, you don't want to go crazy. And you'll see that the salt has already taken effect. It's already working. It's kind of lifting up the water. Salt can dehydrate things, takes the water out. So it's lifting the water out, and it's kind of leaving these little tiny little marks behind, these little crystal marks behind, which is kind of cool. So you'll put this somewhere to dry, and then once it dries, you can shake off the salt. Okay, now that the salt is off and it's all dried, I even went back over my crayon lines now that it's dry, just to kind of make them pop a little bit more. And you can see that salty effect, what it does to my paper. It kind of leaves like little crystals along your paper. It's a pretty cool effect. So, hope you had fun with this, and I can't wait to see these. And remember, if you need any supplies, please let me know. Just send me an email. I have some supplies here if anybody needs them, especially if you're at home. We want to make sure you all have some supplies. So if you need watercolors, something like that, let us know. All right, I can't wait to see these.